And welcome now to a sold-out Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan tonight, the championship game of the women's NIT. Marquette on the road to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. Hi again, everybody. Ben Boyle and Missy Decker-Heydrich. Great to have you with us tonight. And Missy, a terrific matchup tonight. Both of these teams have really embraced what the NIT has lent to both of these programs, and should just be a great battle tonight.
It has been an opportunity for both Kansas State and Marquette to play 4 tough games to get here against quality opponents. But it's not only been just the games. It's been 2 weeks of good practice time in the film room, which has equaled improvement for both squads and has given them the opportunity to be here tonight in this championship game.
Marquette comes in at 22-10 and led by a talented freshman in Crystal Ellis.
She is the Big East All-Rookie selection, a member of that team, the leading scorer for Marquette in this WNIT, and she's also shooting about 40% from three-point range. Her team is 9-2 when she leads them in scoring. She will be their go-to player tonight.
Kansas State's Claire Coggins making the transition here in the NIT from good player to great player.
Claire Coggins has made that transition in a big way. She has become their go-to player. She's averaging 19.8 points a game in the WNIT. She's had double-figure scoring in the last 9 games for the Wildcats. Look for her to have a huge night tonight against Marquette.
So we wrap up March Madness in the women's NIT tonight. It's Marquette and Kansas State playing for a championship next. And welcome back to Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, Kansas. Marquette and K-State tonight for the championship of the women's NIT. Marquette comes in at 22-10. Kansas State 23-10 as we look at our starting lineups tonight. For Marquette, keep an eye on Carolyn Kieger, a senior point guard, the all-time assist leader in Golden Eagle history with nearly 700 assists per game. And she's a finalist for the Nancy Lieberman Award, which goes to the nation's top point guard. K-State getting great production from its freshman post player, Joanne Hamlin, a 6'3" freshman from Douglas, Kansas, who averages 15 points and 6 rebounds a game here in the NIT. Marquette, led by Terry Mitchell in her 10th season, 191 wins in her 10th season. She's had a great tenure there with 5 trips to the NCAA, and this her 3rd NIT. And Deb Patterson, well, this may be her best coaching job in her last 5 seasons. How about 26 wins, 29 wins, 25 wins, 24 wins, and 23 wins. And Missy, what a great job she has done with this young team that starts 3 freshmen. Wecker graduated, Kane graduated, Mahoney graduated. Nobody expected K-State to have this kind of season.
That was the big question coming into this year for Kansas State. How would they react? How would you replace all that you lost, which was over 65% of scoring, over 60% of your rebounding, and just the impact that those players had on this program. But you look at the 4 freshmen and a player like Danielle Zanotti, who also comes off the bench, but in Shalee Lehning, Marlise Gibson, and Joanne Hamlin, they have stepped up their games all throughout the course of this season, and they have done a great job, especially in this WNIT tournament. One statistic that just jumps out at you, 62% of the rebounding have been by those three freshmen, Shalee Lehning, Marlise Gibson, and Joanne Hamlin in this WNIT. They have put in big minutes and done big time plays for the Wildcats.
How about this number here? This could be the key to the whole game, how this matchup zone for Marquette handles K-State's three-point shooting.
Well, Marquette is holding their opponents to just 21% in the WNIT from three-point range. K-State is the third best three-point percentage in the Big 12. They love to shoot that three-point shot in the half court and in transition, but the matchup zone of Marquette will force you into long three-point shots from 22, 23-foot range, as well as late in the shot clock. That matchup zone will cause problems.
Sold out crowd, better than 13,000 on hand here as K-State and Marquette are off and running here in the championship game of the women's NIT. Shalee Lehning off to Claire Coggins, averaging 20 a game in the NIT, and gets the roll for three.
And that's what you like to see if you're Kansas State fans. Claire Coggins getting off to a big start, and it will get this crowd in it from the very beginning.
We talked about the three-point shooting. Coggins, Dietz, and McIntyre have combined to get this 533 pointers this year. That is such a big part of K-State's attack. Inside the putback as Marquette hits the glass, and Jasmine McCullough, a junior from St. Louis, has the Golden Eagles on the board. Marquette probably the better rebounding team in the NIT, +6 on the rebound margin. 5-2 lead here for Kansas State. Joanne Hamlin averaging 15 points in the NIT. What about her production down the stretch here for Deb Patterson's team? She's really taken it to another level.
She has had great improvement all year, but I think in this WNIT, the thing about Joanne Hamlin is she has learned to play against physical play and to react to how it's been. She's had increased stamina, has been able to play more minutes down the stretch, which has been huge for Kansas State.
Clay can't connect, and a tie-up on the rebound. There was Shalee Lehning in the mix. How about her averaging 10 boards a game in the NIT? She's K-State's leading rebounder from the point guard position.
She has done everything for this team all season long, Ben, and especially in the rebounding category. She had a game against Louisiana Tech where she had 20 rebounds, which is almost unheard of for a guard.
Danielle Kamm ties it up with the three from the corner. She's probably their most skilled player, and maybe the player they need to have a huge night if they're going to come in here against a sold-out crowd here in K-State and win this game. Kamm's a junior from Saginaw, Michigan, had a double-double in the semifinal win over Pittsburgh. 11 points and 10 rebounds. That was her third double-double of the season. Good ball movement here, and the jumper from McCullough is good, and Marquette leads 7-5.
What you've seen from Marquette so far is the opportunity and the ability to step out away from the basket, knock down that mid-range jump shot, which causes problems for Kansas State. They have to rotate in their man defense and switch out, defend shooters better throughout this game.
Lehning with the circus shot, won't go. Quickly, here comes Marquette. Carolyn Kieger, the senior point guard, runs the show. Lob inside. Hamlin got a strip there and forced a missed shot. It will stay with Marquette as Quay couldn't convert.
This look at this Marquette team, Ben, is a lot like playing an Iowa State squad. It's interesting. We've always seen Iowa State teams have 5 players on the floor that are very versatile, that can shoot the three-point shot. That is what this Marquette squad is like. Players that step out, shoot that perimeter look, but can also put it on the floor and be physical when they have to be physical inside.
Kieger spins on Lehning. And a foul called on Shalee Lehning. That should be a great battle between two very good point guards.
Well, the thing about Kieger is she has been the go-to player as well as just their floor general for Marquette. She's an all-conference second-team pick in the Big East, which is a league that is loaded with guards this year. She has really set herself apart, but going against a freshman-senior matchup with Lehning against Kieger, Shalee Lehning has battled all year against top-notch guards. She's going to have to do it again tonight.
Kieger shoots 77% from the line, and the line's been a big part of Marquette's run here to the championship game. They've shot 80% in the NIT from the free throw line, and Kieger knocks down a pair. Kieger 7th in the nation in assists with 192. Here comes that trap. Lehning gets it out of there. Now Dietz will step back for three and hits.
And when K-State scrambles against the trapping defense of Marquette, that will open up the perimeter and give these perimeter players some looks from three-point range. Kimberly Dietz has been the one that can step back and hit those three-point shots. They need her to get those open looks.
That's the 200th attempt of the season from three for Kimberly Dietz. Here they post up Kieger, spinning on Lehning, and Lehning gets the board. Lehning keeps the dribble, off to Hamlin. Hamlin hangs and scores.
And Joanne Hamlin has improved so much in her ability to catch the basketball in transition and score. She struggled early in the season of being able to catch and get to the hoop and convert, but she has improved so much, and her teammates are finding her. She does a great job of scoring the ball now.
Those are really the plays that Marquette needs to take away, because the coast-to-coast, Shalee Lehning leading the break, that will get the crowd energized here.
And the transition game for K-State in this WNIT tournament has given them the opportunity to score points in bunches, and that's what they like to do. Get out and make this an up-and-down ball game, not necessarily what Marquette likes to do. They're only averaging a little over 60 points a game. They like it more in the half court. They're going to have to control that transition of K-State.
Tway had it stolen. Marlise Gibson with the steal. And here comes Dietz into the front court. That's doing a good job of getting the floor spread here. Off to Coggins out of the corner. Almost got the roll again. Lehning and Hamlin fight for the rebound, and they will turn it over on the traveling violation. Wildcats with a 10-9 lead. That's their first turnover of the ball game.
And the two players that have continued to battle on the boards down the stretch in the month of March, Joanne Hamlin and Shalee Lehning, tie each other up. But you like to see all five players of K-State crashing the offensive glass. They have to get some second chance opportunities.
Ellis had it knocked away. Hamlin the loose ball. Ellis has been silent so far for Marquette. Coggins whips it inside. Dietz couldn't finish the reverse. Maybe needed a dribble there. Here comes Ellis in transition for Marquette. She is stripped, and off of Ellis, K-State will have it. Fast and furious start here in the championship game. Lehning to Hamlin, and the Wildcats lead it by one. Back at Bramlage Coliseum, Wildcats lead it here, 10-9. I want to thank all of our television partners and welcome all of you across the state of Kansas watching tonight. Metro Sports in Kansas City, KTKA in northeastern Kansas, and Cox Communications throughout the state of Kansas. Also Comcast Net West, and all of those of you up in Milwaukee, especially those of you at Union Sports Annex, the on-campus bar up there at Marquette University. A big crowd gathered there tonight to watch their Golden Eagles. K-State with a 10-9 lead here, 4 minutes into the championship game of the women's NIT. Coggins with a baseline drive, explodes to the hole.
And that is one of the things that Claire Coggins has added to her game this year, is that ability to penetrate and get to the rim, and she does it so quick. A quick first step beats her defender and allows her to get to the hoop. She has converted and has done that, just scoring the basketball so much better at the rim this year.
Wildcats beat Idaho State, Fresno State, Nebraska, and Western Kentucky in a one-point overtime thriller to get to this championship game. Here comes Lehning, keeps her dribble alive, still weaving through the defense. Off the Dietz, not this time. And Kieger rips down the rebound and fouled by Joanne Hamlin.
And that's one of the things that Kansas State does not want to see, is Joanne Hamlin get herself in foul trouble. It has been key down the stretch in the month of March that they have been able to have her play more minutes than she did during the season, upwards of almost 28 to 30 in some ball games, and that's because she stayed out of foul trouble. She has to be a big presence inside without fouling.
Marquette had a 20-point win over Illinois in the opening round, then won at Iowa State by 6 in overtime. There's a chance for a three-point play as Kamm drives the baseline. They beat Indiana by 3 and Pittsburgh by 13. So, Missy, they've come in here and they've played 4 BCS schools to get to the championship.
They have played 4 big-time programs and have learned and really had game experience. You'll see the great feed inside to Kamm. She's one of those players for Marquette. She had a big night against Pitt in their last win, 11 points, 11 points, 10 rebounds. She's got three-point range, but again, that active presence inside and outside, as you just saw, she can get to the rim in a quick hurry.
Lehning breaks the trap, look away, and lays it in with the left hand. Wow! Kieger spins one up, and the point guards getting after one another here in the early going.
And it's going back and forth with the ability to penetrate right now. Both teams playing man-to-man defense. They're leaving a lot of penetration lanes open, making it easy for these point guards to get to the basket. There has to be some help defense on both ends.
No nerve shown here at either offensive end. Both teams shooting 50%. And what about Marquette coming here and playing in front of this big crowd? It's not like they haven't played before big crowds before playing in the Big East.
Well, when you're in the Big East, you're going into hostile environments like UConn, Rutgers, Boston College, even places like St. John's. Those are very intimidating places to go into. So playing in front of 13,000 plus here in Bramlage isn't anything new for them. However, it's definitely the home court advantage for K-State with their friendly fans. They just got to be able to react, and you almost want to take the crowd out of the ball game as much as you can.
Kamm in transition, she gets the roll on a 3, and Marquette takes the lead 8 in the first 7 minutes here for Danielle Kamm, the junior out of Saginaw, Michigan. Clear out here for Lehning. That is blocked by Christina Quay. Here comes Monfrey in transition for Marquette. She steps back for a 3 and drills it. Erin Monfrey, a 32% shooter, who had 8 points off the bench against Pitt. And Marquette with back-to-back threes forces a timeout by K-State.
Well, and what they're doing, Marquette is doing, is they've been able to get out in transition. As you said, you've got to contain the basketball. But when they come down, they're looking to kick out for that three-point shot or get it to the rim in a quick hurry. And that time, Monfrey steps back and gets set. You've got to contest those shooters. Find them in transition. Marquette right now 3 for 3 from three-point range. As we said, a lot like playing an Iowa State team. Every player has the ability to shoot the 3 and has the green light all over the floor. You've got to match up, no matter if it's in the half court or in transition. Right now, Marquette with a definite advantage behind the arc.
Marquette got a big lift off of its bench in that semifinal win. Kovalenko, who has just checked in. She had 16, Monfrey had 8, and Marissa Thrower had 8. So between those 3, they got 32 points off the bench in the win over Pittsburgh. Coggins skips it out to Dietz. That's off target. K-State 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, and Lenning's foul.
And the penetration and kick out for the three-point shot will be there because there has been a lot of this is a sagging man-to-man defense for Marquette. They actually gave Kimberly Dietz a lot of room, which I'm surprised. But again, Shalee Lehning leading this team in rebounding in the WNIT, mixing it up on the offensive glass, gets fouled and heads to the free throw line where she makes the first.
She's really become a leader on this basketball team. She's kind of willed them to some victories down the stretch here, hasn't she?
Her personality is so competitive. She doesn't really have an off switch. However, I've seen her be able to just notch it up time and time again and give 110, 120% all season long. She's trying to do everything for this team and does it so well. Deb Patterson hates to take her out of the game when they have to.
Patterson goes to her bench with Twiggy McIntyre, Jessica McFarland, the only senior on the team. And Marlise Gibson has the board for K-State. K-State with the break opportunity here, maybe. Although Marquette gets back on transition D. Beats around the pick. Fadeaway three is good.
And those screens up top for that three-point shot from the top of the key is a very good play for Kansas State. They love to run those guards off those screens, get them that look. If Marquette isn't going to switch off, it's going to be an easy setup shot for those perimeter players.
Beats had a huge game in the quarterfinal win over Nebraska. 19 points in that game. She had 3 triples. Here's the 5th turnover on Marquette. Gibson had it stripped, but a foul on the Golden Eagles. Timeout, 11:54 left to go. Dietz with the 3 to tie it at 19. Back in Manhattan, a high-scoring first 8 minutes here. Marquette and K-State tied at 19 as we look at Kimberly Dietz working without the basketball.
Well, and she has great movement, but she just keeps moving, keeps her defender really back on her heels, and 2 great screens from McFarland and Gibson up top. No switch out by Marquette leaves Dietz with a great look from the top of the key. Set play coming out down the floor, off the miss, and the rebound by the Wildcats. They give Dietz what she needs. It's time to shoot that basketball. When she gets her feet set, she is one of the most deadly shooters in the Big 12. You'd love to have her on K-State if you're Deb Patterson.
Marquette had hit back-to-back threes to open up a 5-point lead. K-State right back to tie it up. And here's McIntyre to give K-State the lead.
And coming off the bench, that is what Twiggy McIntyre has done all season long, giving them a lift from the perimeter. She not only can put it on the floor or run the point position, but she has been one of those go-to players from the perimeter on 3-point range.
Trying to answer is Ellis, who's yet to score. Lehning with another board for K-State. McIntyre's not shot it well the last couple of games, just 1 of 10, so she may be due for one of those nights where she gets 4 or 5 threes. She can explode coming off the bench. McFarland had that knocked away. Good defense by McCullough. Here's Ellis, averaging 17.5 in the NIT Big East All-Rookie team. And a whistle before the shot. A foul away from the action on Marquette. That's on McCullough, her first.
What they're trying to do right now with Marquette having some players with the hot hand, but we're seeing a lot of substitutions by Terry Mitchell's team. She is trying to find some consistency on the offensive end, but also giving players some fresh legs, bringing it in so they can throw some different defenses at K-State, get them rattled a little bit, and see what they can respond to, and see if they can generate some offense with their defense.
McFarland on the post, missed everything. Good defense by Christina Quay. Here comes Kieger. Ahead to Tiara Shalee, who's checked in. Shirley's a senior out of Milwaukee. Only 3 seniors on this Marquette team, so they're young, just like K-State. Lehning with the strip. Ahead to McIntyre, and she can't put a fork in it. 3rd turnover of the game on K-State.
Even though it was a turnover that K-State doesn't necessarily like to see, it was a great steal by Shalee Lehning. She just got those active hands, always in the right place at the right time, trying to lead McIntyre. Not necessarily a great pass, but a turnover that you can't be too upset with, because you like to see this K-State team trying to get out in transition and generate some fast break points.
Marissa Thrower, 5'11" freshman out of Detroit's checked in. She wears 42 for Marquette. Kieger floats one up and in, and that stops an 8-0 K-State run.
And we've seen continual penetration by both of K-State's point guard Shalee Lehning and Kieger for Marquette. They are getting to the rim. No help defense on either side.
Dietz not this time. Rebound to Kieger. Both of these point guards can really rebound the basketball. How about some of Kieger's career numbers, Missy? Over 1,200 points, 400 boards, and almost 700 assists and 200 steals. She has had quite a career up in Milwaukee.
Well, she is their all-time assist leader, and right now she's about 7th in the nation in assists. And you said before, a finalist for the Nancy Lieberman Klein Award for the top point guard. She has just done everything. Has been one of those players, no matter if she's had a lot of minutes on the floor in her career or have had to play 40-minute games, she's done everything for Terry Mitchell.
McIntyre. That one from 2 steps beyond the arc. It's been a game of many runs so far. Right now, Marquette with 4 straight to take the lead. Inside, and the turnaround from McCullough, 6 straight. And 3 straight trips with the bucket for Marquette now.
And Jasmine McCullough with that advantage inside. Danielle Kamm has checked in for K-State, playing that 4 position and inside, a bit undersized, so it was an advantage, and Marquette exploited it. Went inside right away, gives McCullough that nice turnaround. They'd like to see her put some points on the board tonight.
K-State tried to set that double pick up top again for Dietz. That time Marquette was ready for it. Now 5 to shoot. McIntyre inside, blocked by Marquette. Loose ball. K-State gets it with a fresh clock. Lehning with a strong drive to the left hand. She has 6 in the first half.
And right now, Shalee Lehning find what little offense K-State has been able to muster up at this point. It's been all on penetration. This Marquette defense has spread them out. They haven't gone to their zone, but it's a lot of very sagging man-to-man, and they're switching the screens. Just being big in those passing lanes makes it difficult to score.
There's Lehning with the weak side help. And now throws it behind Dietz, and we're headed to another timeout. 7:35 left to go back and forth in this championship game. Back in Manhattan, Marquette on top of Kansas State, 25-24. And boy, Missy, Marquette's been undaunted by this big crowd. They've come in and shot almost 59% so far.
And they have had a lot of great looks at the basket, Ben, and a lot of uncontested looks so far for Marquette. When you think the 3 for 4 from three-point range so far, they have not been contested threes. You like to see K-State have to get out and really make those shooters earn those three-point shots, but that hasn't been the case so far. On the flip side, the Wildcats only shooting about 39%, 9 for 23 from the field. So the defensive mix-ups and changing it up by Marquette has had a little bit of an impact on the Wildcats' offensive output so far.
Sellout tonight, the second largest attendance ever for a postseason WNIT game. The record set by New Mexico down at the pit in Albuquerque against Ohio State back in the 2001 championship game. They filled that place up with better than 18,000. McIntyre, who hit her first, can't connect this time, and here comes Marquette with a 1-point lead. Over to Kieger, clear out on Coggins. Now they'll reset up high to Crystal Ellis. They've done this, taking a 1-point lead without Ellis scoring in the first half.
She has not had an impact so far, you're absolutely right, but they've been able to exploit some other areas right now where they've had the advantage, which has been inside on some mismatches, and that time Marissa Thrower tries to go one-on-one against Twiggy McIntyre, but she holds her ground, even though she had a huge height advantage. McIntyre holds her ground and draws the charge. Marquette not having to ride the shoulders of Ellis, getting contribution from other people, which is what Terry Mitchell likes to see. Marquette
has shot 59%, but they've turned it over 10 times. And they time to Smith in for Deb Patterson. She wears 24. Also Zanotti, Coggins, Lehning, and McIntyre. So K-State goes small and 8 to shoot. Smith spins and hits.
And that turnaround jumper by Natanda Smith, she is a great leaper and very athletic. She can put it on the floor and go around someone very quickly, and they have a hard time adjusting to her speed and quickness in the post.
Coggins with the quick hands. That's 11 turnovers now on Marquette. Smith bounces it to McIntyre.
Creating offense with your defense is exactly what Kansas State has done, and it forces Marquette to take a timeout. They don't want to see this K-State team get the crowd in it, get these runs, which is what they've done, and have now pulled to that 3-point lead.
K-State has averaged better than 10 steals a game here in the NIT, and here comes back-to-back steals after this nice spin move by Smith.
And Natanda Smith, as we said, she's so quick and has great leaping ability. She can get up the floor, and this time makes a great decision on the bounce pass and the fast break, and Twiggy McIntyre converts. If they're going to get out and run with the basketball, you have to put points on the board. We've seen it throughout this WNIT tournament, and even back in the Big 12 tournament for Kansas State. They were able to get out in the open court and put points on the board in a quick hurry, and you can really put a team back on your heels if you can convert in the open court.
So the Wildcats, who scored just 57 in an overtime win the other night against Western Kentucky, already with 28 on the board. K-State 9 points off of 11 miscues by Marquette. And here's another one. McIntyre with their foot on the gas. Yes, and a foul.
And that one will bring the fans to their feet. Twiggy McIntyre, just active hands and quick out front. We've seen these guards create havoc for Marquette so far, causing so many turnovers, but when you can go on the other end now, 11 points off turnovers for Kansas State, this will be very troubling for this Marquette team. They've got to find a way to bounce back and limit those turnovers right now.
Well, it's been 4 or 5 times, Missy, where Marquette's just holding the basketball, not in a triple threat position, and K-State's just swiping it right out of their hands.
You're absolutely right. I'm surprised that they haven't been more aggressive and taking care of the basketball better. You've got to be strong. You've got to either get in that triple threat, get it under your chin, and when someone comes to swipe at you, go right by them. Blow past them with that quick first step. But we haven't seen that from Marquette yet, and K-State is taking advantage of it.
Lane violation, so McIntyre will get another chance. She's an 80% free throw shooter. And off the bench, McIntyre already has 8 to lead the Wildcats. Danielle Kamm answering her at the other end with 8. Here comes a pick for Kieger. There's a foul on Smith, trying to defend the post entry.
K-State is trying to get around these post players inside. When you think about the size that they have inside with Quay and Thrower, even Jasmine McCullough for Marquette, that's a lot of size and a lot of strength down low. You've got to move your feet quickly to get around and get that half-front position. K-State working at it, but it's going to be a battle down low.
Monfrey quiets the crowd with her second three of the half.
And that was a set play coming out of the out of bounds. They ran her off that double screen up top and gave her enough time to knock down that three. K-State's got to switch out and cover that three-point shooter, even if it's on that switch screen.
Marquette very efficient beyond the arc, 4 of 5. Coggins too strong up the window. And an alert play here by Christina Quay, who gets a timeout as she falls out of bounds, pulling down that rebound.
And that's a very alert play by Quay. As you said, that gives them an opportunity now to have a new shot clock and have the ball out of bounds going the other way. As we saw in their last timeout, as they came out of the last set play out of bounds, they ran that play for Monfrey, got her that great three-point look. That three-point shot pulls Marquette back, and a very easy opportunity to get them within striking distance now as we get under this 5-minute mark of this first half.
Well, here's how the Wildcats got here, winning 4 straight after losing in the quarterfinals to Baylor in the Big 12 tournament. And they thought they had an outside chance to get in the NCAA, but we've talked about it throughout the broadcast. So they've embraced the NIT, and really you get to the championship game of the NIT. It's almost like getting to the NCAA tournament. Now they get a chance to win a championship, although they're locked in a tight battle here with Marquette.
Well, there are only 2 teams that are going to finish the season with a win. The winner of this WNIT championship game and the one that will win the Final Four on Tuesday night in Boston. So if you have the opportunity to finish the season on such a high note, you have to embrace it. And as you said, this K-State team has continued to improve throughout this tournament.
McIntyre nearly drawing a 5 count on Monfrey. 8 to shoot. And another 3, this one from Quay, her 18th of the season. Nice work offensively there with the shot clock running down.
Well, and it was a set play as well. They ran her up through the lane and off a screen, and Monfrey was looking for the entire time. If they're going to penetrate and kick out, each of these Marquette players, as we said, has the green light for that three-point shot.
So Monfrey knocks down a 3, then assists Quay on a 3. Coggins steps in, can't hit the floater. Kamm pulls down the rebound. She's double teamed, now gets it off to Kieger. 15 boards for Marquette, only 9 for Kansas State. As they dump it inside, nice position, and Marquette with 8 unanswered to gain the lead.
And a bit of a secondary break look for the Golden Eagles. They come down, reverse the basketball, and kick it inside quickly. They had the advantage down low. That starts with Carolyn Kieger out front, the point guard for Marquette. She runs the show. She sees where things are open, and she gets the ball in the right hands of the right people.
Smith, that's a charge, will head the other way. And a timeout, 3:50 left to go here in the first half. Marquette working on an 8-0 run, and they've recaptured the lead. Golden Eagles with 8 unanswered points, including a couple of threes, and they lead it here by 2 as we take a look at their WNIT tournament resume. 4 wins over BCS schools, and they put an impressive run together down the stretch.
Well, you look at 2 of their wins, both over 2 Big Ten teams in Illinois and Indiana, and then they had the opportunity in their game this past week to play Pittsburgh, another Big East team. But again, a huge battle against big squads. They have learned and continue to improve. When you have tough games like that, it makes you battle tested for an environment coming into one like this tonight.
How about the Big East? Of course, going to 16 teams this season. It's Marquette's first season in the Big East, coming over from Conference USA, but they had 11 of the 16 go on to postseason play, 7 in the Big Dance, and 4 others in the NIT. Ellis looking for a pick. Lehning gets around it. Now she's double teamed on the block. Back up high. And another 3. Marquette is 6 of 7 as Kovalenko knocks in her first shot.
And Kovalenko is one of those prototypical European players coming from Russia. She has the ability to step out and shoot the 3 as well as put it on the floor. She gets to the rim. She does a lot of things. Offensive rebounds for Marquette. She can do it all and put some points up in a quick hurry. You have got to find her on the court when she's open for that 3.
McIntyre with the quick hands. Saves the possession for K-State. Here's where McFarland's top, and she spins one in off the window.
And that stops the scoring drought for Kansas State. They needed to be able to put some points on the board, but they do it by going inside. And Jessica McFarland had a couple bad possessions early in this half, but redeemed herself with a good move down low, scoring for the basket.
Yeah, the putback there for Kovalenko on the bench. Continuing to pay dividends here for Terry Mitchell's team. 3 subs away at the scorer's table for Marquette. Zanotti is there for the Wildcats. Back to McFarland. And a good outlet here. Starts a break for Marquette. A little bit out of control that time for Clay. Here's Gibson, who's been quiet. She goes high off the glass. Her first 2.
And that's what you like to see. Marlise Gibson has got to be more of a scoring threat and more of a scoring option for Kansas State. She has been quiet on the offensive end in a few of these WNIT games, even though she continues to be a dominant rebounder. But she will have the opportunity to go one-on-one in the post against Marquette, and she has to have the basketball.
Nice take here by Danielle Kamm. Draws a foul on McFarland.
Kamm is just being much more assertive on the offensive end for Marquette. It seems as though this WNIT tournament has been an opportunity for her to really kind of come out of her shell and be one of those go-to players. She has the ability to put a lot of points on the board. That time just going hard to the basket against McFarland. She was late coming over to draw the charge. She puts Kamm at the foul line, but she misses the first.
How about Marquette? 62.5% from the floor, 6 of 8 from 3. 2 of 3 from the free throw line. They have come in here and shot it very well in the first half.
And those are numbers that you don't usually see against a team that is coming in here in a very hostile environment, a sold-out crowd. They have not been affected whatsoever by this lot of 13,000 K-State fans.
39-35, 9 now for Kamm. She leads Marquette in scoring. Hits for 3. Her 3rd of the half.
Patience on the offensive end is it right now for Kansas State. Those shots are going to be there, and Kimberly Dietz looking to find the basketball and wanting it, knowing she's got the hot hand. Marquette playing off her, giving her some room at the 3-point line. That is key. If she's going to have that space, she has to take that shot.
Crowd into it here as we're inside the final minute of the first half. Kamm tries to take Zanotti on the baseline. Now here's Kieger with 5 to shoot. Knocked away from behind. And K-State has it with a chance to take the lead. At 15 seconds, the difference between the game and the shot. Dietz on the drive, switch to the right hand. Marquette with the rebound. Now they can hold for the final shot, up by 1.
This is a big defensive possession for Kansas State. You don't want to allow Marquette to go up either by 3 or 4 going into the locker room. They have to buckle down in their defense, look for help as well as defend the 3.
Kamm wants to take Zanotti, gets a big-time pick, nearly stolen by Gibson. Thrown up at the buzzer, no good from Kovalenko. What a first half. Marquette shoots 62%, but turns it over 13 times. Wildcats shoot 43%. And really a first half of many runs back and forth. And Marquette on the road here in front of a sellout crowd will take a 1-point lead to the locker room in the championship game of the WNIT.
And then turn around and come back. And the first one, the return is going to be the winner. You guys ready? On your marks, get set, go. I like to move it, move it. 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 I like to move it, move it.
Halftime from Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, Kansas. Championship game of the women's NIT. And it's the Marquette Golden Eagles 39, Kansas State Wildcats 38. Ben Boyle along with Missy Decker-Heydrich. Well played first half. Both teams shot it well. Marquette on the road here, shooting 62% in the first half. Pretty impressive.
They are not intimidated at all by the sellout crowd of mostly purple-clad K-State fans, over 13,000 of them. But they've come in and shot the ball very well from three-point range, hitting 6 for 8. And it really kind of exposes right now some defensive liabilities for the Wildcats. They have got to find these players in transition. Marquette's looking to dribble, drive, penetrate, kick it back out. They've got to do a better job of containing the dribbler and just finding these three-point shooters. You don't want to allow that three-point shot to really put you in a hole.
Well, Marquette's Crystal Ellis came in as the big scorer in NIT play for the Golden Eagles, averaging 17.5 points a game in postseason. She didn't even score in the first half, and yet everybody else seemed to pick her up.
Well, obviously a great defensive job by Kansas State on Ellis. However, they've had good contribution off the bench and also by players like Quay and Kamm inside and outside. They've shown the ability to put points on the board on all ends of the court, which is a huge advantage for Marquette right now. They have to be able to score without Ellis necessarily leading the way for them.
For Kansas State, Joanne Hamlin, their freshman post player, got a couple of early fouls. Deb Patterson elected to sit her down the rest of the half. You expect K-State to go inside to her here in the second half?
They're going to have to. They have established that inside game through the course of this WNIT tournament, and it has been very successful for them, and that is where we have seen the growth of Joanne Hamlin become a better inside player for them. They have to go inside, establish it early, and then that will open up the perimeter for players like Coggins and Dietz to get some better three-point looks, maybe even give them some penetration opportunities as well.
Kansas State hits 5 of 13 from three-point range, but Marquette goes 6 of 8 here in the first half from beyond the arc. The Golden Eagles lead it by 1. Halftime score 39-38 Marquette here in the championship game of the women's NIT. Ben Boyle, Missy Decker-Heiderk. What about turnovers? 13 on Marquette, and yet they shoot 60%. It's like when they take care of the ball, they're knocking down shots, but K-State shoots 10 more shots in that first half because of the turnover.
Well, and it's amazing that they've been able to put this many points on the board with those 13 turnovers, because that is 13 opportunities they didn't even have at a shot. But what they've been able to do is execute their offense and get some great looks on the offensive end, which has contributed to that high percentage that they have. Again, some lapses on the defensive side for Kansas State. Not finding the shooters and not helping out on penetration has given them that 60%. And when you look at the 6 for 8 from three-point range and then 5 for 13 from Kansas State, a lot of rush three-point shots for the Wildcats, under contested by the Marquette defense, makes it difficult. And the rebounding margin right now is obviously in Marquette's favor, 19-11. It's got to be that one-and-done mentality for the Wildcats, keep Marquette off the glass. But only 5 turnovers for K-State. Deb Patterson has to be happy with that number. They're taking care of the basketball, getting shots at the basket. Again, 43% isn't a bad number, but when a team shoots 60, it's difficult to kind of regroup. Points off turnovers, 12 for Kansas State. Credit their defense with the 10 steals. They've been out in the passing lanes, active hands, active feet, really making it all happen and converting on the other end. If they can do that, get those points off turnovers and get out in the transition, they can be much more successful in the second half.
Well, how about the bench play? Both teams, both coaches got to be happy with the production they've gotten off the bench so far.
Well, obviously for Kansas State, the foul trouble with Joanne Hamlin, knowing that they were going to need players like Danielle Zanotti, Jessica McFarland to come in. But also for Marquette, we've seen them in their games over the course of the season. They've had players step up. If it hasn't necessarily been a player like Ellis for Marquette, who's been the big scorer, someone else has done it. So when you can get bench contribution in postseason play, that's how you can really be successful.
Yeah, Monfries hit a couple of threes for Marquette. Kovalenko with the 3. So everybody getting in on the act here. We'll have second half action coming up momentarily here. Marquette leads it by 1. Marquette with a 1-point advantage at halftime in the championship game of the women's NIT. Time to take a look at our first half highlights. First for Marquette, 4 different players hit threes.
Well, what they've done is they've got that penetration going inside, outside, as well as setting up some big screens up top. And the sagging defense and a little bit of disruption by Kansas State has allowed those 3-point shots. And now they go inside. And we've seen Kamm come up big in this first half for Marquette. If they've got the advantage, as they do here with McCullough against Danielle Zanotti, they go at it, get the ball inside. That's where they've been successful. The inside-outside looks. For K-State, it's been the threes with Sinclair Coggins come through with some big shots, as well as Kimberly Dietz, and K-State has also been successful going down low. You look at Twiggy McIntyre hitting that three as well, and Joanne Hamlin with that sweet turnaround. She hasn't seen much time on the court in the first half because of that foul trouble, but the penetration inside outside, Jessica McCullough converts. K-State has to be able to score in the post, and it will open up that perimeter.
All right, the crowd doing the wave here as they await the tip-off of the second half. Get your hard hat on and settle in for the second half. Marquette leads it by 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, an update from Coyne Stadium. In the bottom of the fourth, Kansas State 7, number 3 Nebraska 1.
One of these teams 20 minutes away from a championship. Marquette leads it here 39-38. When you look at what Marquette has done in defending the three-point shot during this tournament, they've allowed only 20.9% from three-point range, but K-State has knocked down 5 of them in the first 20 minutes, and yet almost the bigger story is that Marquette has made 6 of 8 on the other end, and that's given them a 1-point lead. As
we've said all along so far, this Marquette team, every player out there has the green light from three-point range. K-State, on the other hand, has had a little bit of trouble reacting to the mix-up defenses that Marquette has brought at them. It's been a lot of sagging man-to-man, a little bit of zone. We see a little bit of trap as well early, kind of in the half court, but there hasn't been a lot of consistency, so I think it's been tough for the Wildcats to get in a rhythm. And when they have that rhythm, it allows them to really knock down those three-point shots. They're going to have to find that, as well as just set their teammates up. Set those big screens, find that open player, give him time to shoot the basketball, and if it means making that next pass to the open player for another assist, that's what they've got to do. In order to, for the next 20 minutes, it's going to have to be about high percentage shots, making the next pass and valuing the possession. We saw them do that, only 5 turnovers in the first half, but it will be so important here in the second.
K-State really got the crowd into the game. About 8 minutes left in that first half when they jumped up by about 4 or 5, but Marquette came right back with an 11-0 run. They opened up a 5-point lead before K-State closed the gap at halftime. Claire Coggins hit an early 3. She scored 5 in the first half, but shot just 2 of 7. So we'll see if Claire can get untracked here in the second 20 minutes for Kansas State. Matchup zone again for Marquette to begin the second half. Gibson goes to the right hand with the hook, and Gibson has 4.
And that isolation look for Gibson is what K-State would like to see, as we said it at the break. Go inside early in this second half. Make Marquette have to focus on that post game of the Wildcats. That will open up those perimeter looks. Gibson is the player you'd like to see score for K-State.
Play goes to work. If this is on Hamlin, it's her 3rd. Well, they'll give it to Lehning, so K-State dodges a bullet there. Both of them were there, although that it's 2 on Lehning. But Hamlin is not the player Deb Patterson wants to see in foul trouble.
You're absolutely right. Shalee Lehning got there late on the double team. They're trying to go inside. Marquette is, and K-State bringing that double team, which has been effective in this WNIT tournament when they've gone up against big post players of all of their opponents. They've brought those double teams, created some turnovers as well as tough shots for the offensive player, but that time they go inside. Lehning picks up the foul.
Player and second team All Big East honors. She has 8 in the ball game, and we're tied at 40. Coggins wanted to go back door. Kamm shut that play off. Up high now to Lehning. Lehning on the drive, and she is fouled. She's been strong off the dribble tonight, especially from the top of the floor like that.
Well, and they've given those penetration lanes. They have been there, and Shalee Lehning has such great court vision as she is seeing that develop and seeing that penetration lane right from the beginning. She's going hard off the dribble and taking her defender, getting to the rim to either score, get fouled, or even look to kick it back out. Interesting matchup right now. Ellis is on Lehning out front. You would think Ellis, as their top defender, would be on Coggins, but it's the matchup of freshmen out front right now.
Lehning has 8 to go along with 8 assists and 3 boards. Inside to McCullough, who's been tough to handle in there. Rebound to Kim Dietz. Coggins on the run, doesn't fall. Just 2 of 8 now for Claire Coggins. Lead pass all alone is McCullough, and she ties it at 42.
And the transition game for Marquette that time very successful, almost beating K-State at their own game, getting that rebound off the backboard and having their post players fill the lanes to get the easy layup. Right now, K-State a little stagnant. You don't like to see the off-balance shots on the offensive end, but that time Dietz has a great look at a layup.
Good use of the screen, and Dietz is into double figures with 11. Nearly another steal. Wildcats had 10 of them in the first half. Kieger trying to operate on the baseline as Lehning momentarily lost track of her, and the veteran senior made her pay.
She gets loose, you're gonna pay for it. You're absolutely right. K-State's got to be able to find those players even when you have the switching defense.
Lehning, the rebound, the kick out to Dietz. Oh, and somehow it rolls in.
She got the shooter roll that time. Kimberly Dietz, over 203 attempts this year. She gets the touch that time. A great hustle play by Lehning. She keeps it alive to kick it back out. Those are the kind of plays that can really take the wind out of your sails if you're Marquette.
And a steal by Claire Coggins. Here's Coggins on the attack. It is blocked, but a foul.
Attack is the word that you'd like to see this K-State team use for the rest of the second half. They have to have that attack mentality on the offensive end. Look to really put the pressure on Marquette to guard them in the half court, and that time guard them in the full court. Not a very good move by Marquette in terms of their transition defense. They have to get back and pick up. It puts Coggins on the line. She has to be more of a scorer in the second half for the Wildcats.
She misses the first free throw as you look at her night there against Western Kentucky, but tonight just 2 of 8 shooting and gets 1 of 2 from the free throw line. There's her mother Tina looking on. Part of the 13,000 strong in Bramlage tonight. The crowd really trying to become a factor now. Nice position inside by Quay, and a foul inside, and this may be the 3rd on Hamlin. Nope. That'll be on Gibson. So Hamlin dodges another bullet.
You know, and this play all started with Carolyn Kieger. She saw a wide open look down low for McCullough, got her the basketball, even though she missed. Then it was Quay on the other side with the offensive rebound. K-State has got to block out. You've got to put a body on these Marquette post players and get them out of the lane. That one and done mentality is what you have to have in the second half.
Quay again splits a pair from the line. She's got 9 in the game now. 48-45. Marquette led by a point at the break. Good defense from behind and knock it away from Hamlin. Quay, alert pass and a nice finish inside. That is good offense right there. McCullough gets the bucket.
And the battle on the inside right now is being won by Marquette with McCullough and Quay inside. They are big bodies and are playing great defense as well against K-State. Hamlin and Gibson down low, and that is going to be foul number 3 on Johann Hamlin. A moving screen up top, trying to get Kimberly Dietz open for a 3, but it was a moving screen, and that's going to be her 3rd.
Here's a look at that nice play by Marquette as it pulls the Golden Eagles to within 1. Back and forth we go as we return to Bramlage. Kansas State holding a 1-point lead as you look at how this game has unfolded. 6 ties, 12 lead changes already. The largest lead was 6 by Kansas State. Marquette's led by as many as 5. Just what you'd expect and want in a championship game.
I don't think you could ask for anything more. It's a tight game, and what we've seen is players on each end stepping up at different points, but it's been a battle on both ends defensively to find an answer for what has been successful. Right now, Marquette going inside, winning the battle of the post game. K-State was able to get some perimeter looks here to start the second half.
Monfries checked in, who played well in the first half for Marquette. They go inside. That's knocked off of Christina Quay.
And that's the first time really when that post pass has gone in for Marquette that there has been help defense on the other side for K-State. Both Claire Coggins and Shalee Lehning there with the active hands, and they're able to knock it off Quay's leg. Possession goes back to Kansas State, but help defense will be key if they're going to continue to pound it inside to get those easy looks.
Kieger gets the steal and a foul on Shalee Lehning. 3rd on Lehning. So Lehning and Hamlin here in the last 30 seconds have each picked up their 3rd fouls, 2 of the freshman starters for K-State.
And that's something that we haven't seen very often this season. Shalee Lehning getting her pocket pick, but a senior guard, Carolyn Kieger from Marquette, she just was waiting for her opportunity and took it, was able to go for that steal, gets the foul on Lehning. A big call with 15+ minutes left in this game. Shalee Lehning's going to have to play smart basketball.
Gibson with a foul, trying to tie up McCullough inside. And now the 6th-team foul already in the second half on K-State.
Gibson was a step late, and as we said, right now the advantage is to these post players for Marquette. They are going hard, physical bodies and big presence inside, and Gibson was late getting there. She gets the foul. You cannot reach around. You've got to move your feet, try to get that half front and intercept that pass.
Kieger against Lehning. Lehning did a good job to hold her ground and not foul, and now Coggins with the bump. This will be the first on Claire Coggins. Nice play there by Kieger, the veteran.
She saw those players with their back turned, and she was able to throw it right off, and you don't see it very often, but as you said, a veteran player knows to make that play, get it in bounds, and look for an easy layup.
Play with the skip. Kamm for three, and Marquette takes the lead.
And that skip pass will get your defense rotating, but K-State did not rotate fast enough. Kamm extending the defense with that three-point shot.
Coggins trying to throw it inside, throws it away. 9th turnover of the game on Kansas State. Deb Patterson now will counter with Twiggy McIntyre for Claire Coggins. Coggins really hadn't found her rhythm yet.
She has not. It's been difficult. You have to credit the defense right now of Marquette. They have really been able to hang with her. She hasn't been able to run off a lot of screens and have those one-on-one opportunities to go off the dribble and shoot that jumper. Marquette's done a great job of shutting her down. They are forcing Kansas State to come with other players to put points on the board.
Kamm trying to drive in on the smaller McIntyre. Now this is thrown away, but just caught a piece of Kimberly Dietz, so Marquette will keep it with 12 to shoot.
And with 12 seconds on the shot clock, again, an important defensive possession for Kansas State. Down 2, they have to be able to get a big stop here. Marquette's going to look for a quick score and a quick hit, also probably to go inside where they have been successful here in this second half.
Ellis clear it out. She spins in on Lehning, throws up a wild shot, and Lehning collects another board. That's her 5th to go along with 8 points and 9 assists. McIntyre dribbles in and gets fouled as she weaved through the traffic that time.
Twiggy McIntyre is very aggressive going into traffic, going against those bigger players. Coming in at only listed as just 5'5". She plays bigger than 5'5", obviously, isn't scared to mix it up inside. The key here is Twiggy is a great free throw shooter, almost 80% from the free throw line. She can get there and score points. Obviously, she misses the first, but that's where she can be effective as well as scoring at the free throw line.
There's her first half numbers. She was big coming in off the bench, gets 1 of 2, and the Wildcats are within 1. K-State 6 of 8 from the free throw line. Marquette 5 of 9. Nice drive, no finish. Zanati the board. Lehning on an all-out sprint, nearly turned it over. Looking for McIntyre here on the wing. Now inside, Zanati breaks free. Too strong, gets it back. Shot clock still running. McFarland will back her way in. 5 to shoot. McIntyre loads up a 3 and hits. K-State takes the lead.
A huge shot for Twiggy McIntyre and a great decision by Jessica McFarland to knock it back out and kick it out from down there. She didn't have a look at a basket even with the shot clock running down. Those threes are shots that will come back and be key down the stretch here for the Wildcats.
Each team with 7 from bonus distance tonight. 8 to shoot. Here's Monfrey. Nice pick and roll. A battle underneath, and the foul on Marquette.
And a big defensive stop by Danielle Zanati. She has been one of those players off the bench for Deb Patterson that has been a defensive stopper. That time she just holds her ground down low and is able to battle for that board. You've got to block out, and that time she puts her body against those Marquette players to draw that foul over the back, gives the Wildcats the opportunity to go the other way.
Ellis dropping down, got a piece of that. There's McIntyre, off to Lehning. Lehning sets for 3. Too strong, knocked out of there. Here comes Ellis on the run for Marquette. 3-on-3 break. Ellis with their first bucket, and we're tied at 52.
And who would have thought that the game would be at 52 all with Ellis only scoring her first bucket at about the 12-minute mark. But a great no call by the official. Shalee Lehning drew the contact on the drive by Ellis, but it was a no call. Would have been her 4th, but Ellis gets on the board for Marquette.
Ellis going coast to coast after the steal. McIntyre with the reverse. for Twiggy McIntyre, stepping up big time here in this championship game. And now a little too aggressive as she fouls Ellis. That's only one on Twiggy McIntyre, and that will send Marquette to the 1-1, but first to timeout. 11:38 left to go. McIntyre and the Cats up by 2. Wildcats up by a bucket here. 11:38 left to go in the championship for the women's NITs. We're looking at past champions, and boy, some big-time programs on that list. Penn State, Ohio State winning it over the last 7-8 years here.
A lot of programs with very strong traditions in women's basketball, and you go back to 2003 and Auburn from the SEC winning this women's WNIT championship, but they beat a very young Baylor team in the finals that year in 2003. A lot of people have made that comparison with Kansas State, a young squad getting all the way to the finals, and then obviously Baylor winning the national championship last year can be a mirror image of what Big 12 teams can do.
Yeah, oftentimes with a young team, you make it to the Final Four, you win the WNIT, certainly be a huge springboard for coming years.
Well, and it's all about experience, and it's all about having an opportunity to play teams that you don't see night in, night out in your league, and that's obviously what K-State has done. Minus the game against Nebraska last week, they've had an opportunity to play 4 teams that they have not played all season long, and that is a new opportunity, new teams, different offenses, different flows, different kinds of players out of different leagues. It really gives you great experience.
Lehning along with Dietz, Zanatti, McFarland, and McIntyre. McIntyre left alone, goes to the drive, floats in and hits another one. McIntyre is on fire.
Well, and coming off the bench, Twiggy McIntyre is a spark that K-State has needed, with Claire Coggins not able to score too many points and hasn't gotten in the rhythm. McIntyre is picking it up for her.
Zanatti with the block. Lehning on the drive, off to Zanatti, and she is hammered. Here's a look at Twiggy McIntyre's night. What a performance with 16 off the bench.
Well, and we've seen her do it all season long for Kansas State. Come in off the bench and have big nights, able to contribute in so many ways, not just with her offense, but with her defense. And when she gets her feet set on that three-point shot, she is deadly. And Marquette has given her some space out there on the perimeter, and she has been able to knock them down. As we said, on a night where Claire Coggins hasn't necessarily gotten into a rhythm yet on the offensive end, having Twiggy McIntyre come in and put some numbers on the board is what the Wildcats need.
Zanatti gets the block at one end and a couple of free throws at the other, and the lead now is 4. Coggins back into the lineup for Deb Patterson. This is Shalee, a senior from Milwaukee, who's checked in, wears 13 for Marquette. Up high, McCullough wants to drive on Zanotti. Turns around. Can't get the turnaround to fall. McIntyre chases it down by the Marquette bench. Jumped inside to Zanotti. 5 to shoot. Coggins needs to go and got in a hurry and turns it over.
And that's a tough call right there because K-State had great ball movement and was looking to get a shot on the end. Deb Patterson just wondering when they can catch a break with their junior who has come up so big for them in this tournament and how that turnover could really get them in a bad spot. Still with this 4-point lead, when you have a turnover like that, now it's time to turn it up on the defensive end.
Kieger steps into a 3 and sees it roll around and off. Kieger, not a great 3-point shooter, just 28% on the season, but tried to seize the moment there. Inside to McFarland, an off-balance shot won't fall. Kieger slides down for the board. Here's Monfrey on the run. Bounced inside, and McFarland with great defense as she hustled down the floor.
And that's what you like to see, your post players running the floor for both teams. Marquette has had some great easy looks in transition with their post players running the lanes, but that time McFarland gets down and gets a great steal going the other direction.
Back-to-back travel called on Kansas State as they're not able to push this 4-point lead any further.
The toughest thing about that call is that as a player, you almost have to give the official just another split second to see your feet, that you didn't necessarily raise that pivot foot. Twiggy McIntyre and Claire Coggins, when they catch the ball, they go so quick around those screens off the dribble that sometimes the official will anticipate that travel.
Hamlin's back in with the 3 fouls, and there's a hit from McCullough, who's got 12. He's a nice face-up player. And pretty good in the post as well. Had a career-high 19 against Syracuse in the Big East this year. McIntyre, long 3. There's Lehning. Lehning to the left. No! And Clay has the rebound. Crowd wanted to travel. Good ball movement here by Marquette. Monfrey from 22. No, Lehning. 8th rebound. She might get a triple-double tonight. She's got 9 assists and 8 points. Coggins steps out, rattles away, and the rebound off to McCullough.
That 3-point look from the wing is still a good shot for Claire Coggins. Deb Patterson wanting her to take that is going to continue to encourage her to shoot the basketball this last 8 minutes. If she can find some rhythm, that will really put the heat back on this Marquette squad.
Coggins with a little bump into the backcourt and a foul. That sends Deb Patterson nearly to the floor. So a 1-and-1 coming up for Marquette as we're inside 8 minutes. 7:54 left in the championship game. Wildcats up 58-56. A 1-1 coming up for Marquette with a chance to tie. This crowd tonight, a sellout at Bramlage, has been traded to quite a basketball game. Marquette shooting 51%, Wildcats at 43%, and Lehning nearing a triple-double.
Marquette goes to the line for this 1-on-1, Ben. This is a team that is averaging in this WNIT just about 67 points a game and holding their opponents to about 56 per game. But one of the things, an amazing number right now for Marquette, they are 20-1 on the season when they score over 60 points. So as they close in on that number in a quick hurry, it is going to be a battle down to the end for K-State to defend.
And the only shots Danielle Kamm has missed tonight from the free throw line. She missed a couple earlier in the half, but knocks home a couple, and we're tied at 58. Wildcats opened up this 58-54 lead, but have been dry their last 4 trips down as Marquette battles back to tie it back up for the 13th time tonight. Good ball movement here. Dietz gets a chance to set, and she delivers.
And you're absolutely right. When she can get her feet set, and that time against the zone, great movement. The in and out looks from Hamlin. She saw that someone was open, but yet the next pass by Claire Coggins makes that 3 a reality for Kimberly Dietz.
Thrown away by Monfrey. Dietz with 4 triples on tonight for K-State. Kick out to Coggins, 4 to shoot. Lehning will put up a 3, just does draw iron, rebounded away by Christina Quay. Not a lot of movement on that trip down by K-State.
No, it was a change-up on the defense again by Terry Mitchell and her Golden Eagles from Marquette. They went from the zone the last possession to the man, that time sagging man-to-man. Wildcats had a hard time identifying it, got stuck in sort of that stagnant offense out front, not going inside and outside where they've had success.
Kovalenko, beautiful pass, but a miss inside by Christina Quay, and we're headed the other way, a foul on Marquette.
And Danielle Zanotti has come in off the bench, the other bench player right now for the Wildcats that has been a real clutch player on the defensive end, blocking out, getting some big rebounds on the defensive side, but also just making smart decisions with the basketball on the offensive end. You can't ask for anything more than the players that come in off your bench to make a quality and a big-time effort as well as contribution without really making any mistakes. Zanotti doing it right now for the Wildcats.
But Quay threw up an air ball from point-blank range inside there, so here comes K-State up by 3 in the ball. Coggins beats again. Back iron. There is Lehning. She has been everywhere tonight. Hamlin had it blocked away, and a foul on Ellis, trying to fight over the top. And this will be a 1-and-1 for Joanne Hamlin, a 67% free throw shooter.
You know, Crystal Ellis set the single-season freshman steals record at Marquette. She has got such quick hands out front, and that time they did switch out on that screen, and it matched her up with Joanne Hamlin, who really kind of left the ball out there for her. She was able to knock it away, but couldn't get to it, and holds Hamlin, gets that foul, puts Hamlin at the line. But again, K-State has got to value those possessions, because as you get under this 6-minute mark and we're closing into the end of this ball game, each and every possession is going to be very costly. You have to be able to get good attempts at the basket.
Dietz, Coggins for 3. No, wave it off. They blew the whistle before a timeout was called by Kansas State. Coggins is saying, what do I got to do to get a shot to fall here? We'll step aside with 5:39 left to go. Wildcats lead the Golden Eagles by 3, and the Cats really just a split second away from leading by 6, but Deb Patterson called this timeout right before Coggins stepped into a long 3.
Well, and I think it probably would have been hard for Claire Coggins not to hear her coach call that timeout, but you know Deb Patterson would love to almost have that back. But it's a time for them to regroup, but you do like to see Claire Coggins make that shot and kind of get some rhythm, as we were saying at the break. She needs to find that offensive rhythm right now for the Wildcats, get her in the scoring column, get her some confidence so they can kind of try to build on this lead right now, which is only at 61-58, 3-point lead.
Coggins wanted to take the long one there against Ellis. Maybe that long shot, although it didn't count, has given her some confidence back. Just 2 of 9 tonight. 7 to shoot, back door. What a catch, and the finish by Lehning.
And a big pass by Claire Coggins. She sees the entire floor out top, and Shalee Lehning just keeps moving without the basketball. Again, she has a level that just does not shut off and is continuing to look for the basketball. Great play by both guards.
Ellis had it stripped, Lehning with the steal. Wildcats can take their largest lead of the night with a bucket here. Dietz, yes!
No help defense by Marquette. They didn't step over, and Kimberly Dietz sees that wide open penetration lane, and that will get this crowd back in. It forces Marquette to have to take that 30-second timeout. Breakdowns on the other end, turning it over again. Marquette has struggled all night long of hanging on to the basketball and getting those tough possessions. But now under this 5-minute mark, it's going to be all about gut check for this Wildcat team as well as Marquette.
Wow, just a mental lapse right there on Marquette's part.
You're absolutely right. She made a great crossover move on Kieger, and she kind of bit on that crossover right in front of her. And Kimberly Dietz, no help defense comes over for Marquette. She's able to go strong to the rim. One of those things, again, that Kimberly Dietz has added to her game this year, not just strictly a three-point shooter, not just a set-up three-point shot perimeter threat for the Wildcats. She's put it on the floor numerous times throughout the course of not only this WNIT tournament, but throughout the season. She can penetrate and get to the basket, and the key to Dietz, along with McIntyre, she is a great free throw shooter, almost close to 88-90%. You put her at the line, it's almost money each and every time.
Now some backcourt pressure from Deb Patterson, forcing Marquette to use a little bit of that clock. Dietz has 19 in this game to lead all scorers. Tway tries to back her way, and that's knocked out off of Kansas State. McCullough brings it in to Tway, and now off to Kieger. Shot clock at 10. Tway isolated. Over the top, no good. Kieger jumps down for the rebound, but it's going to be a shot clock violation because Tway's attempt didn't hit the rim.
And a huge stop by Kansas State. We've seen them do it in this tournament, have those big defensive possessions where you get those shot clock violations, and Marquette working very hard, and some of those easy baskets that were falling early in the second half not falling for the Golden Eagles, and it's making a big difference. Huge defensive play. Now K-State can go the other way, but you've got to be able to handle the pressure of Marquette.
Lehning, a rebound and an assist away from a triple-double. That might be the assist. It is to Hamlin.
And no help defense again by Marquette, and Joanne Hamlin posts up big. She has been quiet tonight for the Wildcats, has had foul trouble, but comes up big and goes to catch that pass. Lehning sees her freshman teammate. They make a great one-on-one inside move.
Kieger with a veteran drive, and the senior has 10 to momentarily silence the crowd.
And she knew she has got to get to the rim and put some points on the board for Marquette. They've got to silence the crowd and get into this lead. K-State is continuing to pull away. Marquette's had trouble scoring the ball the last 4 or 5 minutes, and it's allowed the Wildcats to extend their lead right now.
Coggins on the pull-up. Kamm might have got a piece of that, or Kamm might have got a piece of that. McCullough with the drive, and a foul on Zanotti. And Marquette not going to go away, are they?
You're absolutely right. They're going to continue to battle and go right at the Wildcats. They're going to have to toughen up and tighten up the defense against Marquette in the half court.
Wildcats by 7. .308 left to go. Championship game, women's NIT. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been quite a contest here. What does Terry Mitchell's team need to do down the stretch here? Looks like K-State's got the momentum.
Well, the success for them early in this first half was going inside. You've got to be able to get the ball inside to Quay and McCullough and allow them to operate, and that will then open up those looks from the perimeter. We've seen Monfrey come in, as well as then you have Kamm on the lineup who could shoot the 3, and Kieger, if she can get those penetrations and get to the rim, give themselves some second chance opportunities. This Marquette team still holds the advantage on the boards against K-State, 29-24, board the basketball on the offensive end.
McCullough with 13, it's the 9th team foul on Kansas State, but Marquette, after shooting 60% in the first half, held to 37 in the second half, and thus the lead here for K-State.
And you've got to credit the Wildcats defense. They've continued to battle and have done a much better job of contesting shots and also blocking out, not giving Marquette those second chance opportunities.
And there's the 10th rebound for Shalee Lehning. And that is a triple-double. About 10 points, 10 boards, and 10 assists. 10 of everything, 3 of a kind for Lehning. A triple-double and an unbelievable performance here tonight by the freshman. But K-State not out of the woods yet, and Dietz turns it over. McCullough can't finish. Kamm kept it alive and knocked it off of Zanotti.
And there they are going inside, even though McCullough couldn't finish, but they get that offensive rebounding. They really pressure the glass, and everybody crashes the board. It goes out of bounds. New shot clock, an opportunity for that inbounds play underneath.
Kovalenko's in. Rebound off to Dietz. Well, she had good position. I think she rushed it a little bit.
She had made a great move and got that inside spot. And when you can go one-on-one and have that height advantage, you've got to be able to finish. Terry Mitchell would love to be able to have that shot back. Knows probably 8 out of 10 times Kovalenko would put it in the basket.
So back-to-back turnovers on Kansas State keeps Marquette alive with 2:01 left.
And that is not what Deb Patterson and her staff like to see. Now 13 turnovers for the Wildcats, but this late in the game, down the stretch, you've got to value the possession. When you make stops on the other end, you've got to be able to get yourself some good shots at the basket. They have not done that the last 2 trips down. Again, time to tighten up the defense and really defend Marquette.
Knocked away by Hamlin. Good defense on the baseline drive by Kovalenko.
Kovalenko's one of those players, as we said, she can shoot the 3, but she loves to put it on the floor and penetrate. Hamlin has her hands full with that matchup, as does Danielle Zanotti.
Kamm hadn't missed all night. And leaves that one short. Here comes Lehning into the front court. Wildcats without a field goal since the 4:03 mark, but still managing to hang on to this lead. Coggins from the baseline hits!
And a clutch shot by Claire Coggins. She has not had a very good night for the Wildcats, but when it counts at the 1:30 mark, the junior comes through. A big-time shot. That is that pull-up jumper that hardly anyone in the country can guard.
Kamm, no. Coggins the rebound. And this crowd on its feet in Bramlett. Lehning is fouled by Crystal Ellis.
Shalee Lehning has had her struggles at the free throw line this year, but this is going to be a time for her to step up and knock down those free throws. We saw her miss 2 clutch ones down at Texas when they lost in overtime in Austin during the Big 12 Conference regular season schedule. Since then, she's been able to really focus, has had practice so much trying to create that rhythm with her free throw, and it's important, and it's going to be a big time for her to step up. But you see the shot by Claire Coggins, again, just that clutch shot from the junior. She comes through in a big-time situation.
Coggins was 2 of 10 from the floor before that shot, but well, she's turned into a leader on this team, and she knew her team needed a bucket, and despite a tough night, she went and got it. But what about Lehning's night? 3 of a kind. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Well, and the triple-double is just a number that you don't see very often. You hardly even see it in the men's game, let alone in the women's game. But Shalee Lehning just does so many things for this team. We said it all along. She has an energy level that is far above anybody could ever imagine. She mixes it up. She's that floor leader. She is going to have an amazing career here at Kansas State, and she has started it off with a solid, solid freshman campaign.
Knocks down the free throw. She heads into next year as probably the best point guard in the Big 12, don't you think?
You're absolutely right. When you think about a player like Aaron Grant, who is graduating down at Texas Tech, and I think about playmaking capabilities, Shalee Lehning can be that top guard in the Big 12 Conference.
Monfrey, back iron, Zanotti fights for it, thrown up there by Kovalenko, and she's fouled.
And that foul will probably go against Danielle Zanotti. She was there trying to block out, and she has put in some big minutes for the Wildcats. Almost 26 here in this ballgame coming off the bench. But she is battling inside with Joanne Hamlin against this very aggressive post game of Marquette. That time just caught a little bit out of position. They get the foul on the rebound.
Kovalenko hit a couple big shots in the first half, as Marquette led by 1 at the break, 39-38. That's her first point here in the second half for Terry Mitchell.
Number 12, Amber Johnson. Number 13, Tierra Shirley. Number 42, Marissa Fowler.
A lot of substitutions and strategy right now for Terry Mitchell. She is trying to get some guards in there, players that have fouls to give, as well as people that can put some pressure on K-State on the inbounds with the make from Kovalenko if she gets it here. Look for pressure full court by Marquette.
Just one timeout left for the Golden Eagles. They bring it into Dietz, K-State's best free throw shooter. And with no 10-second violation in the women's game, Dietz just runs some clock in the backcourt until Stroller fouls it.
And the key here is this K-State is going to look to get it to Dietz every time on that inbounds, and she will keep her dribble alive. One of the things, a huge improvement from last season to this season with Kimberly Dietz, is she is able to keep that dribble alive. Last year as a freshman, she would pick it up either in the backcourt or the front court, get herself in trouble, but she has done such a good job of just keeping that dribble alive, and in this situation, as she keeps dribbling, she's going to get fouled, even though she misses that one-and-one.
Hamlin sneaks in for the board, and a foul on Marquette.
Those are the backbreakers for Marquette and for Terry Mitchell's team. If you can't get the defensive rebound off a missed free throw from the best free throw shooter on K-State, Kimberly Dietz misses the front end of that one-and-one, and then you give up the offensive board. It is tough to overcome those kinds of things, but it puts Hamlin at the line here. Big free throws for the freshman.
Well, she's been a star of this NIT run for Kansas State. has had some foul trouble tonight. Just 7 points for the freshman from Douglas, but has averaged 15 points and 6 boards coming into tonight in the NIT.
And I think the key for Joanne Hamlin tonight is that even though she's been saddled with that foul trouble, she's been able to make big contributions and really kind of adapt to that adversity. She didn't do that very well at the beginning of the year, but now playing with fouls and playing smart.
Ellis looking for some room to launch a three. Dietz has the rebound and a foul on Marquette. I tell you what, as the crowd begins the celebration here, give Marquette some credit though. A game effort here tonight, coming into a raucous crowd, and for about 36, 37 minutes, giving K-State a heck of a game.
Well, and they have come in, and as we've said all along, battle tested. When you play a schedule in the Big East, you play the teams that they did in this WNIT. They were going to be ready for this environment, and they have the weapons to be able to do it, to knock off teams and to play very competitive games. You look at this team and you think if they would have gotten it, it's been a difficult night for Crystal Ellis, their star freshman, who's been one of their go-to players in this tournament. She has not had a good night, which has made it much more difficult for them to battle back right now against K-State.
What a night for Kim Dietz, 21 after the 2 free throws. Monfrey, air ball. Dietz, another rebound. Now thrown away. And into Danielle Kamm. And now Lehning is fouled, and she'll head to the free throw line.
And the pressure will be full court each and every time off the make from Marquette. That's where they've had success all season. They did it to Iowa State. They pressured them pretty much all game long when they got that overtime win at Ames. Again, another hostile environment from a Big 12 team. But tonight, K-State has really reacted and responded. They've done a great job of being able to not allow that pressure to affect them.
Lehning hits the free throw, and there's Jessica McFarland. Well, what a way for her to go out. The only senior on this team, the senior from Derby, will be able to hoist a banner here in Bramlage Coliseum.
It's a great feeling, and for her it has to be. She played for 3 years with great players this year, a young team. So many questions about how they would do this year, but Jessica McFarland has led by example, and they're going to have a big-time championship to celebrate in 13 seconds.
Granati rips down the board. And K-State's going to win it. Well, following the graduation of Wecker and Kane and Mahoney, nobody expected this. With 3 freshmen in the lineup, tonight the Wildcats put an exclamation point on a storybook season, and they will hang another banner in Bramlage. K-State is the champion of the women's NIT. And a sellout crowd loving it here in Bramlage tonight as the Wildcats finish off quite a run to the championship of the women's NIT, winning it over Marquette 77-65 as Kimberly Dietz scores 21 tonight. Shalee Lehning with a triple-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Twiggy McIntyre with some huge buckets early on in the second half. She finished with 16 points off of Deb Patterson's bench tonight. And the Wildcats make it a perfect 5 for 5 in front of the home crowd and win the WNIT championship tonight here in Bramlage Coliseum.
Shalee Congratulations on a big night. You had a triple-double tonight. What are your thoughts? You guys, this is an amazing accomplishment for a team. Nobody expected a lot out of you guys to do this season.
Oh, I mean, this is just absolute blessing and honor. This WNIT was a great opportunity for us, and I love this team. I mean, we showed that we're going to come here and we're going to battle, and we surprised a lot of people.
What about your fans? 13,000 people here tonight. They've come out all season long. You guys have to just be so excited to play in front of a crowd like this tonight.
Oh, we cannot thank them enough. They're the best six men in the nation, I'm concerned, and they definitely had a lot to do with our success. We have to thank each and every one of them.
Well, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. Back to you, Ben.
All right, thanks, Missy. And Shalee Lehning heading back over there to join her team in the celebration as they get ready to hand out the hardware here in Bramlage Coliseum. And they're naming the all-tournament team. It includes Danielle Kamm, Christina Quay so far from Marquette.
From Kansas State, Kimberly Dietz.
And the roar for Kimberly Dietz, who had 21 tonight. Dietz had 19 in the quarterfinal win here against Big 12 Conference member Nebraska. So what a way to finish off her sophomore season.
The 2006 Postseason Women's National Invitation Tournament is Claire Coggins, Kansas State.
Coggins named the MVP. She's the one who got K-State into the finals, averaging almost 20 points a game. And didn't shoot it well tonight, but came up with a big-time shot with just over a minute left to go.
Ben, it was a fantastic win, and you look at Claire Coggins being the MVP of this tournament. She came up big with that huge shot down the stretch, even though she didn't have a great rhythm throughout the course of this game. But I think this was a definite team win and a huge effort by this squad. You can't help but celebrate with 13,000 fans.
Claire's mom taking it all in as they get ready to present the championship trophy to Kansas State.
And the champions of the 2006 postseason WNIT, the Kansas State Wildcats.
Tell you what, Missy, nobody would have expected this. Wecker, Kane, Mahoney all graduated from last year. That many thought it would be the end of the run for Kansas State. Deb Patterson brings in a new group of freshmen, and they've already made their mark here on Kansas State.
They have made a huge mark, and this is an amazing accomplishment for this young team. You can't imagine the excitement and the feelings that they have right now to be able to cut down these nets and to do it in front of your own fans. But you think about what they lost, where they thought they would have been this season. This is an accomplishment to savor, and it will lead them to great things going into next year.
Well, the Big 12 coaches picked Kansas State ninth to begin the year, and here they are, the champions of the NIT.
The last team standing, men or women in the Big 12. That's a great, great feeling.
What about the job done by Deb Patterson? We mentioned early on, this may be her best coaching job, and she's had some unbelievable teams, including a Big 12 champion a couple years ago.
I think so much of it this year was about adjustment. This team had to really be ready to play. They had to find players, the question marks with who is going to defend, who is going to rebound, who is going to score points. But each and every night, different people did it. And it was a team effort all the way around each and every night. And I think you have to credit Coach Patterson and her staff. They had them ready to play every opponent throughout the conference schedule, in the non-conference. And in this WNIT, they were just raring to go, knowing they wanted to prove a point that they were one of the best teams in the country, and they proved it tonight.
So the Wildcats will finish the year 24-10 and champions of the WNIT. Congratulations as well to Marquette for their runner-up finish. They will close the year for Terry Mitchell at 22-11. But this night belonging to Kansas State and its fans. A sellout crowd as the Wildcats finish off their run to the WNIT championship. Our thanks to Metro Sports for pulling the television coverage together tonight. We hope you enjoyed it wherever you are tonight. Deb Patterson and the Kansas State Wildcats, the champions of the WNIT. For Missy Decker, I'm Ben Boyle. So long from Bramlett.